スーメタルです。
ユーメタルです。
モアメタルです。We are Babymetal.
Oh hey, welcome back to my channel. And welcome to the second part of my Babymetal lore video. In today's video, we will cover episode 6 through 10 of Metal Resistance, along with the living legend and metalverse lore. I apologize for how long it's taken for this video to come out, but I was waiting for Fox Day to happen, and when the black box stuff was released on the 24th of April, I had to push the video back to wait for it to be released, in the hope that we might get some new lore. If you didn't watch the first part of this video, I will link it in the card above. Now, before we actually start, I just found out that, while writing this script, there was actually some lore I never knew about that appeared at the end of the Big Fox Festival concert. The lore was actually a video to introduce episode 6 of Metal Resistance, and for some strange reason, they only showed this during day 1 of the show, and never put it in the pro shot, which honestly confuses me. Anyways, the narrator states that a holy saint will reincarnate into a holy god during initiation, and that a bright light has appeared from within the 5 fox flames, the metal souls who were destined to finally arrive upon that holy land, aka Japan. The narrator then tells the story of a 3-eyed fox named Prophet of the Fox God, who once said that when the fox eye sheds light onto the world, a new goddess will arrive. That new goddess shall appear at the Holy Land and become the next Messiah in order to lead the XX generation. And then, the concert actually concludes, ending episode 5 of Metal Resistance. And now, we can finally start episode 6 of Metal Resistance. Episode 6 starts with a black screen, with a question asking if this is the beginning or the end, and stating that a new legend has arrived with light. The story then begins with the Messiah's light, with Metal narrating. She says that light was a gift blessed from the heavens, which gave people the spirit to live and enjoy the life they were given, and since that light gave people the reason to live, it then marked the start of a new legend. But, doomsday had arrived. A long time ago, the world was lit with the light of hope, but in an instant, it transformed into a world of darkness after a beam of light appeared, the light being called despair. As hope turned into despair, the people wondered what kind of fate awaited them. Now, as some time has passed, as we are now in the year 20XX, a bright beam of light appeared again, and lit the dark world that was in full despair. But, this light was neither the light of hope or despair, but a different kind of light. A 3-eyed fox named Prophet of the Fox God once said that when the fox eye sheds light on the world, a new goddess shall descend and appear at the Holy Land to become the next Messiah in order to lead the golden generation. And with the advent of a new era, and to mark the profound beginning of a new legend, the new goddess's mission is to descend upon this profound location in order to bring light to the world that was devoured by darkness. Metal then appears as the new goddess, and with her XX staff raised, she begins her mission to become the new Messiah. The next part of the story is titled Despair, which talks about an endless rain that had fell upon the people. The bright beam of light that wiped the light from the world also ceased the people's light of hope, and when the skies turned dark, an endless rain fell upon the people who had lost their light and hope. But, the endless rain doesn't exist, and the people hoped that the black skies would clear, so that the heavens can restore the light that had been lost. The people hoped to discover happiness at the end of sorrow, and prayed for the light of hope to return to them, and this is how we get to an incredible rendition of No Rain, No Rainbow. The next part of the story is entitled, In the Name of, with Sue describing the opposites of virtue and vice, light and darkness, and life and death, saying that even if they are opposite, at the same time, they are also interrelated. She then describes that the people, torn between hope and despair, eagerly waited for a new Messiah. And when all three of those desires combined, it created a force, called Trinity. And when Trinity was created, the world would then become engulfed by an enormous rain. And with the Messiah arriving in that enormous rain, she chooses to sacrifice herself in exchange, to become the light within the flames, who is then guided up into the dark skies. The Messiah now receiving a new life, in order to shed a new light upon the world, the new goddess rises again, harder and stronger. And to become the new goddess, Sue Metal is then crucified in flames, signifying her becoming the new Messiah, and completing her mission, to bring light to the world. The last and final part of the story is played soon after, with Sue describing the light and hope that exists in the world of despair. With carrying all of the people's desires upon her shoulders, the Messiah, wrapped up in flames, is then turned into a new beam of light, and is guided up into the stars. With the Messiah, now ascending into the heavens, became the only shining entity, as the stars in the sky were still dark, after being engulfed into despair. But then, a miracle happened. Ascending into the heavens, the new Messiah reincarnated into a new goddess, using her singing ability to express all of the people's desires, and unleash them into the night skies. The Messiah's song turned into a myriad of stars, which fell upon the people, the stars turning out to be the light of hope the people once lost. The light of hope now regained by the people, shined through the fox eye, and evolved into one massive light, which in turn, turned the world into the one. Sue then asks why the Messiah continues to sing. As the chosen one, it is God's will, and is her destiny, her fate, and also her mission, to prevent the people from losing the light of hope again, and to consistently provide light for the people. So, with the arrival of a new Messiah, a new era has begun, and a profound beginning of a new legend has started. The countless small stars shining in the dark night turned this world into gold, and similarly, the new Messiah became the guiding light that then leads the fresh golden generation into a bright new future. With Sue stepping out in her goddess attire, along with Moa, the English version of the one is then played. And with Sue and Moa departing through the XX doors, the concert officially ends, marking the start of a brand new era, and creating a new legend. Now for some breakdowns for episode 6. Who is the prophet of the fox god? The prophet of the fox god is a three-eyed almighty being, probably a higher being than the fox god, who stated that a new goddess will descend onto the earth to lead the golden generation. What is the Holy Land? The Holy Land is in reference to Japan, where the new goddess would descend. In past episodes, the Holy Land was referenced as the United Kingdom, or just England, but in this episode, it is Japan. Who is the new goddess, and in return, who is the new Messiah? It is Sue Metal, who are both entities, considering that this was her 20th birthday celebration, who would lead the golden generation. What is Trinity? Trinity is a force that was combined from the people's desires and turned into metal spirits. The force called Trinity can also be interpreted as Sue, Yui, and Moa. Lastly, what is the golden generation? The golden generation is the people who prayed for the light of hope to appear once again, and then became the one, due to the myriad of stars falling upon them. Now, on to episode 7 of Metal Resistance. The episode starts with the narrator stating that light and darkness are considered to be opposites, but at the same time, cannot exist without the other. Sometimes, however, the moment light and darkness intersect, an unknown dimension, called the Metal Galaxy, is then revealed. The 7 existing metal spirits transcended space, and after being led by an invisible force, then became the chosen 7. The narrator states that with the weaving of light and darkness, the metal galaxy creates the space in which the chosen 7 can reveal itself. We then explore the dark side of the metal galaxy, with Sue and Moa, along with 5 backup dancers, to make up the chosen 7. The new era will then continue, and advance, onto the next stage. And with that, episode 7 of Metal Resistance was then completed. Now for some breakdowns for episode 7, although there really isn't a lot of lore to talk about. What is the Invisible Force? The Invisible Force, just like its name, is an unknown entity that led the 7 existing metal spirits into becoming the chosen 7. What are the 7 existing metal spirits, and in turn, the chosen 7? The chosen 7 is made up of Sue and Moa, along with 5 backup dancers, who are represented as the darkness within the light, to create the metal galaxy. The chosen 7 are also represented as the figures in the Distortion music video. Lastly, what is the metal galaxy? The metal galaxy is a dimension that is a combination of light and darkness, or a combination of hope and fear, or hope and despair. We get more explanation of light and darkness, which by the way, will be mentioned numerous times throughout this video, in a video on Babymetal's YouTube channel, titled The Revelation. The revelation starts, stating that Babymetal has transcended dimensions of time and space, along with the body and mind, and then retells the story of episode 6, which is a legend about the chosen one with a metal spirit, who traveled across the metal galaxies. The metal spirit within the chosen one, is then reincarnated time and time again, with the power of light and the power of darkness, and is then combined to become a radiating light to illuminate the void. This radiating light then became the One, and the chosen one then became the guiding light, who delivered itself with the One through sacred songs from the universe and the heavens. This myth of the chosen one is then known as the Metal Resistance. Until now, we have only experienced the light side, with the legend of 3 metal spirits, but now, with the revelation of the dark side, the chosen 7 is then introduced. With the metal galaxy now created, Babymetal then made an odyssey to the metal galaxy, traveling throughout the dimension, to discover the different metal stars. Now, on to Metal Resistance episode 8. The episode starts at the Sun Also Rises concert, with a story called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that is in memory of 2010, the year that Babymetal was created. Sue then begins narrating, saying that she sensed a new identity within her, a new spirit that resided within her. She stated that it all happened so suddenly, and together, everyone met, and made an odyssey to the metal galaxy. Whether this encounter was by accident or by fate, no one will ever know for certain, but it all happens in the name of the Fox God. And with Babymetal's spaceship touching down on the sun, they enter the light side of the metal galaxy. The narrator then states that Babymetal has left many legends in their almost 10-year history, and will now be facing an all-new battle starting in the land of the rising sun. As the concert ends, the narrator then says that, as the metal melody reverberates in space, and a stunning aurora glows over the metal galaxies, a new revelation will be revealed. Episode 8 continues at the Forum show, with 2 asteroids, one light and one dark, crashing into each other, creating the metal galaxy. Sue then narrates, saying that life is a conflict between the light force and dark force, and that anyone can become a comic hero or a tragic hero. Is it hope, or is it fear? Thinking about it is useless. As the concert ends, a new revelation has been revealed, and as the metal melody reverberates through the metal galaxy, Babymetal continues to embark on a new worldwide journey. The episode somewhat continues in the Metal Galaxy World Tour in Japan concert. At the very end of the concert, the narrator states that the moment the sun and moon align, a vast metal galaxy appears as a sign that a new legend will begin. This will happen when the gods of the East and the gods of the West play a metal symphony at night. The narrator then explains the creation of the Avengers when 3 fired arrows arced into the starry sky. The continuing odyssey of the metal galaxy will then take us to a world we have never seen before. The final part of episode 8 then begins at both Legend Metal Galaxy shows. The narrator at day 1 of the shows re-explains that when the sun and moon align, a vast metal galaxy appears. A new legend will begin, and with Babymetal acquiring both the Light Force and Dark Force, they are to become the one. Beyond the metal galaxy beaming and shining light, we will then witness the light force of Babymetal. Throughout the first day of the concert, Babymetal performs all the songs that are considered to be a part of the light side of the metal galaxy, which includes the debut of Omagini, Brand New Day, and Night Night Burn. As the concert concludes after the 5-member version of Road of Resistance, Babymetal has now acquired the light force of the metal galaxy, and as they approach the next stage, they will acquire the dark force. Now on day 2 of the Metal Galaxy shows, beyond the metal galaxy, masked in pitch blackness, we will now witness the dark force of Babymetal, and this is how we get to a 5-member performance of In the Name of. Since we are exploring the dark side of Babymetal, they performed all their songs that are considered to be the dark side of the metal galaxy, which includes the live debut of BMC. Towards the end of the concert, and after 3 years of not being heard, a 5-member version of IDZ is then played, ending the concert. As the concert concluded, a video is then played, stating that since Babymetal has now acquired both the light and dark force of the metal galaxy, they will now approach the countdown to Doomsday, with Metal Resistance approaching its finale, being episode 10. The date for episode 10, and for the 10th anniversary of Babymetal was stated to happen on October 10th, 2020, but I think we know what happened for that to be postponed. And with that, episode 8 of Metal Resistance was completed. Now for some breakdowns for episode 8. Who are the 3 figures we see at the Sun Also Rises concert? The 3 figures are a representation of past Babymetal, since you can see the red bows in their hair. The figures moving towards the spaceship represents past Babymetal, changing and advancing into a new era. What is the spaceship? The spaceship is a 3D triangle-shaped ship that Babymetal uses as a form of transportation to travel throughout the metal galaxy. As a side note, I don't think the spaceship is an updated version of the giant magic circle, like in past episodes. I just think that it's its own separate entity. What is the new revelation? The new revelation is just a metaphor for Babymetal's new album, Metal Galaxy. Who are the gods of the East and West? The gods of the East and West are just a reference to the original Kami band and the Western Kami band. The Western Kami band was introduced during this era and performed with Babymetal in numerous shows due to the Eastern Kami band having prior commitments or having other schedules to do while the Metal Galaxy tour went on. Who are the Avengers? The Avengers were also introduced during this era and are 3 backup dancers that fill in Yui's 3rd spot after her departure from the group. The Avengers are made up of 3 people being Riho Seishi, Kano Fujihira, and Momoko Akazuki. In the lore, 3 fired arrows were shot into the skies, creating the Avengers. What is the light and dark force, and what is the sun and moon in relation to Babymetal? Since light and darkness are a common theme in this era, the light and dark force are 2 entities that reside within the metal galaxy, which Babymetal traveled through to acquire. The sun and moon also play a part in this as well, since once the sun and moon aligned, the metal galaxy was then created. It is also speculated that the sun and moon are representations of Su and Moa, with Su being the sun and Moa being the moon. It is also speculated that the Sun Also Rises concert was originally planned to be Yui's 20th birthday concert, since it is known that Babymetal plans shows months in advance, and that it also took place about 10 days after her 20th birthday. If that was the case, Yui would have represented the sun, while Moa represented the moon, while Su would have probably kept her role as the new messiah. It also would have made sense in reference to the Legend S shows, with the force called Trinity, since Trinity is also a representation of Babymetal. But, at the end of the day, it's just pure speculation. Lastly, what is XX Day? XX Day is a reference to the day of the final episode of Metal Resistance, along with being the 10-year anniversary of Babymetal, that was supposed to take place in 2020. Now, before I continue with episode 8, this is actually the part where things get kind of confusing. So, episode 8 of Metal Resistance is covered in the Sun Also Rises concert, the forum in October, Metal Galaxy Tour in Japan, that occurred later in the year, and the Legend Metal Galaxy shows, that took place in January of 2020. But, there is a concert in the middle of Sun Also Rises, and the forum, which is Moa Metal's 20th birthday concert, Legend M, and is actually the 9th episode of Metal Resistance. Yeah, I know it's super confusing, and I don't understand why they couldn't have written her story to fit better into the Metal Galaxy, but I think we all know why they didn't. Anyways, I will cover episode 9, and then continue on with episode 8 afterwards. Episode 9 is in memory of 1999, Moa's birth year, and the story begins with Moa narrating, saying that on the 7th month of that year, a great king of terror will come from the sky to bring back to life the great king of Angel Moa. And with that, the arrival of a golden generation will mark the advent of a new era, and to rescue the ruined land, a new messiah will descend upon the earth. Now for a very small breakdown of episode 9. Who is the Great King of Terror? To be honest, I don't know, since there is no explanation for it. Who is the King of Angel Moa? I honestly don't know, but the King of Angel Moa might just be Moa, or another entity that we don't know about. Lastly, the Golden Generation, and the advent of a new messiah is mentioned again from the Legend S show. So I'm assuming that, since Moa was wearing the same quote-unquote goddess outfit as Su did in Legend S, she also became a messiah as well, to help Su guide the Golden Generation, or she officially became a messiah once she turned 20. Once again, it's all super confusing, and I'm pretty upset that Moa only got about 5 minutes in her entire concert to explain this whole messiah nonsense thing, along with having no crucifixion, but it's whatever I guess. And now, without further ado, here is the final episode of Metal Resistance, episode 10. Episode 10 begins at the Rockmaken show in December of 2020 and tells the story of how it has been approximately 10 years since Babymetal has descended upon the earth. In the name of Metal Resistance, the story of fate, destiny, mission, and revolution was declared by the Fox God, recounting episodes 1 through 5 of Metal Resistance, where Babymetal embarked across the world and beyond borders to become a global sensation and to unite the world as the one. Overcoming numerous challenges through their journeys, Babymetal then faced a turning point. They were to then enter a new era, as they set foot into a world where light and darkness intersected. As the metal spirits evolved into a new form, they brought infinite light to the metal galaxy and lit up the entire world. After creating legend after legend for the past 10 years, their metal spirits will continue to transcend time and space and shine forever. And after some time, a legend will become a myth, which will then eventually become a living legend. Towards the end of the concert, the narrator recounts Babymetal's journey throughout the past 10 years, with Babymetal now facing their biggest challenge ever. In the blink of an eye, the year 2020 turned into a dystopia, and the metal spirits were deprived of a place to scream and unite. but Babymetal will not give up. Together with the metal spirits that joined the 10-year fight for metal resistance, they will once again gather at that sacred place, the iconic Budokan Arena, where the very first metal resistance episode took place. The fox god then says, "Now is the time to reclaim the metal spirits and take on the biggest battle in history, and to mark the end of the battle, a 10-count gong will be necessary." The concert, 10 Babymetal Budokan, is then revealed, which will take place over 10 concerts in 2021. The true beginning of episode 10 starts at the Budokan Arena once more, with Koba relaying an important message he received from the fox god. Also, as a disclaimer, all 10 shows were combined on the DVDs, so days 1 and 2 are combined, along with days 3 and 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, and 9 and 10. Anyways, Koba's message from the fox god states that the year 2020 was turned into a state of dystopia, and everyone's metal screams were robbed. Once dystopia heard a metal scream, this horrifying existence would try to grab them and abduct them over to the other world. But the fox god taught everyone a very special way to revive their lost metal screams by using its supernatural powers to revive said metal screams that were accumulated in the past 10 years of metal resistance and let them reverberate in the Budokan Arena. In order for that to happen, Koba, along with the fox god, needs everyone's cooperation and to wear their savior masks, saying to unleash your inner metal spirits to sing, scream, and express your emotions through your body without the use of your voices. And if everyone is able to do that, we may all be able to relive the memorable legends that we've all witnessed before. At the end of the days 1 and 2 of the concert, the narrator states that the birth of a new metal marked the beginning of metal resistance, and now, Babymetal has finally entered into their final episode. Until the last ring of the 10-count gong, which marks the end of the biggest battle in history for Babymetal, and until the moment they ascend the stairs to become a living legend, no one can stop the clock from ticking. On days 5 and 6, along with days 9 and 10, we are introduced to the story of destruction and resurrection that happens at the beginning of all 4 shows. Once again, it recounts the world being turned into a dystopia, and that in this distorted world, Babymetal were robbed of their metal spirits. But they will not give up, and with the metal spirits that joined the 10-year fight for metal resistance, they will once again gather at this sacred place to resurrect Babymetal. And then, we have the live debut of Babymetal Death Shin version, with Sue, Moa, and Momoko being crucified, signifying the resurrection of Babymetal. On days 5 and 6, we get a story about a metal battle that was fought to unify the metal world at the sacred Budokan. At the end of the battle, when things transcended beyond the power of reason, a new legend was born. The metal fox god then gave life to metal heroes, who were to once again descend upon the earth. And now, on days 9 and 10, we will finally get the conclusion of metal resistance. It's been a while since the endless reign of dystopia, and like the silence of a broken piano, dystopia had silenced us all. But, endless reign doesn't exist, and despite the wounds from the constant beating of the reign of dystopia, the metal keyboard never gave up hope, so that it could play a harmony once again. The people prayed that a miracle will occur, hoping that light will once again appear to illuminate the vast skies. And then, after almost 4 years of not being performed, Sue Metal sings No Rain, No Rainbow, with the metal keyboard appearing as well. A story before Ode of Resistance is then played towards the end of the concert, titled The Last Stand. In the Sengoku period civil war in Japan, Babymetal were to face the largest and the very last heavy metal battle of metal resistance. The time has now come to ring the 10-count gong to mark the end of the 10-year battle at the sacred Budokan, where all the metal spirits that joined the fight will unite together. While the burning metal spirits unleashes its crimson flames, and the blazing infernos rages into the rising sun, the cry of the soul brings forth the metal melodies to play, and ultimately allows everyone to become the one. And now, in the final episode of Metal Resistance, the largest and the very last battle will now begin. Road of Resistance is then played. Su, Moa, and Momoko then travel throughout the arena to commence the 10-count gong. And will all 9 gongs rung, Su Metal then bangs the very final doomsday gong, and with that, everyone has once again become the one, and after an incredibly long and treacherous 10-year battle, Metal Resistance Episode 10, and Metal Resistance as a whole, has officially concluded. Now for some breakdowns for episode 10. What is dystopia, and what is the distorted world? Dystopia and the distorted world is Babymetal's interpretation of the pan-fried chicken that deprived the metal spirits of a place to scream and unite. So yes, the pandemic made it into the Babymetal lore. Who is the metal fox god? The metal fox god is probably just the fox god, and gave life to metal heroes to descend upon the earth. The metal fox god also appears in the BMC music video as well. The story of Endless Rain and the metal keyboard might be a reference to Legend S, since, at that same show, and Endless Rain was also talked about, along with the fact that No Rain, No Rainbow was last performed there. What are the metal spirits? The metal spirits are the one who joined Babymetal in the fight for metal resistance. And lastly, what is a living legend? A living legend is what Babymetal had become once they completed metal resistance and ascended to the end of the stairway and into the galaxy. And now, with all 10 metal resistance episodes covered, I will now talk about living legend and the other one / metalverse. So, the living legend stuff was first mentioned at the Rock Macan show. The narrator stating that, after creating numerous legends in the past 10 years, Babymetal will continue to transcend time and space and shine forever. A golden staircase is then shown, the narrator saying that after some time, a legend will become a myth, which will eventually become a living legend. What lies ahead is something only the fox god knows. At the final Budokan shows in 2021, a story at the end plays, stating that metal resistance had finally come to a close after a 10-year battle. And with the 10-count gong marking the end of the battle, it then eventually turned into a signal of departure. With the 3 metal spirits that have been shining since 2010, even if they were to leave the earth, they would continue to shine forever in our hearts and across the metal galaxy. Once again, a legend turns into a myth, which turns into a living legend. What lies ahead beyond the end of the stairway to becoming a living legend is something only the Fox God knows. After that concluded, nothing really went on for a while in regards to the living legend. But then, on October 10th, 2021, a video was posted onto Babymetal's YouTube channel, titled Stairway to Living Legend. In the video, Sue and Moa sing the unfinished version of the one in the Budokan Arena. And towards the end of the video, we see both Sue and Moa walking up the golden staircase to become a living legend, with 3 metal spirits rushing off into the galaxy. The 10 Babymetal years logo then turns into a dark grey, and with that, Babymetal was then sealed off from the world. But outside of the lore, this was just a way for them to take a break from live performances. Although it did seem like Babymetal was disbanding due to Koba not explaining jack shit about anything, trust me, they are not. Anyways, since Babymetal were sealed off from the world, nothing happened for literally 6 months, and we were all anxiously waiting for Fox Day to happen, in hope of something to be announced. And then, at 12 AM Japan time, a picture was posted on BM's Twitter, with the text saying that what lies ahead is something only the Fox God knows, see you next time. Rightfully so, during that time, everyone on BM Twitter, including myself, were incredibly confused and outright pissed off, since we thought we were getting some big news about Babymetal. But then, at 12 PM Japan time, a video on Babymetal's YouTube channel titled The Other One was posted. The video states that on October 10th, 2021, a decade after Babymetal descended upon the earth, their 10-year legend was sealed from the world. Fossilized metal spirits left the world of dystopia, where chaos still continues to rage on, and are still in the midst of traveling the metal galaxy. However, with the advent of the virtual world called metalverse, a new chapter is about to begin. Through the metalverse, a restoration project called The Other One will reveal a side of Babymetal that we never knew existed, the other story of Babymetal. Of course, everyone was freaking out about it, now knowing that Babymetal is returning with new music. A new logo was revealed, along with a new distorted photo of Sue and Moa, sitting on thrones. Although people were excited about new music, BM's management began to make super dumb decisions, like selling NFT sneakers, and revealing something called the Black Box, which you had to purchase, in order to obtain the new songs that Babymetal will release. The Black Box did contain really nice photo cards of Sue and Moa within them, from what I've seen on social media, but it's a really stupid thing to keep new music behind a paywall instead of just outright releasing it, and it also alienates fans as well, since in order to get the Black Box, or to access the digital gallery, you have to have a The Other One membership, which is something that a lot of people cannot afford. On April 27th Japan time was when the digital gallery officially opened, and instead of actual songs within the gallery, it was actually small snippets of instrumentals, titled with different names, like Illusion, Calvary, and Mirror. I'm assuming that these snippets are tied into the restoration project, since BM's official Twitter posted a video stating that the restoration of new songs and visuals based on the metalverse algorithm will begin, and that it will proceed in random order, and that once the restoration process begins, there is no going back. It was kind of weird that they posted that, since so many people wouldn't even have access to the restoration process in the first place, but then again, it's Babymetal's management. So, the restoration process began on April 27th, Japan time, and as I'm writing this script, it has been almost a month since it began, but no completed song has been released, and the restoration process is sitting at 11%, so we are probably not gonna get any new songs until 2038. To be honest, the snippets do sound great, but you can only do 3-second instrumental snippets for so long before people become antsy or disinterested. Hopefully once the progress bar reaches 20 or 25%, we might get a new song, but at this point, I'm just really sad that they keep throwing us scraps. And if they don't release a song at either 20 or 25%, I will bite a piece of Koba's arm off. So yeah, we are pretty much up to date with the metalverse. Overall, I think I prefer the lore in episodes 1 through 5, since everything connects pretty well with each other in terms of storylines. Episode 6 is really nice as well, but I think once Yui departed from the group, the lore got kind of messed up along with that, since I feel like they had to retcon or change up some storylines once we got to the Metal Galaxy era, since everything seems to not connect that well, if that makes sense. I'm also pretty sure that they completely dropped the Living Legend storyline in favor for the Metalverse one, since it hasn't been brought up since then, which, honestly, I prefer. Both parts of this main lore series took a pretty long time to do, but it was nice to see the result in the end. The next part of the lore series will cover the lore of Su-Metal, and then I will do the lore of Black Babymetal, so look out for those videos in the future. If I forgot to mention anything in this part, please let me know in the comment section, but other than that, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.